Hey friends of YouTube, this is RWBY speaking with RWBY Volume 7 spoiler talk. That's right. If you guys have not watched the entirety of RWBY Volume 7, you might want to skip on this video until you've seen the entirety of this. But if you already have, we can continue. I just got a new microphone from two good friends, Colin and Pat. Shout out to you guys. Like, I really appreciate this. So if you guys have been wondering, like, what is this thing? It's a microphone. And I don't have a place for it to rest just yet. So I'm just gonna hold it for a bit, so that way you guys can hear me pretty well. I mean, I don't know if you guys can already hear me if I put it down like this, but maybe you guys can hear me better through this. But just let me know in the comments down below and stuff. This is gonna be a very experimental video when it comes to the audio. Okay, but let's talk about RWBY. So RWBY Volume 7 picks up where we left off in RWBY Volume 6, where we had like the entire fleet at Atlas. Like, wow, we finally get an answer to that. And as to what's going on, Atlas is in chaos with the election of the councilman, to the Grim attacking, to James Ironwood surrounding the place with a fleet. It's getting really crazy though, and it's a shame to see Weiss's home like this though. She must like. In fact, this volume is pretty much about her. Well, most of it. I'll get to another character in just a moment though. Yeah, we've seen the new outfits already. We saw the trailers and the promo art and everything, which I already talked about in like a previous video. Man, all these outfits though they're just really good though. They're really good. It makes more sense for them to wear these outfits since you're in Atlas and it's really cold, so you might want to wear something that's a bit warmer. There's another character that I felt like also had this volume, just like Weiss, and I felt like that was Penny. How many of you freaked out when you saw Penny in the first episode though? Like, this was a great way to begin a volume in general, though. Even if you didn't like this volume, though, you cannot deny that this episode right here was probably one of the best episodes to not only begin a volume, but also as like one of the best episodes in RWBY. Like, I know this might sound a bit fast, but it's just so surprising though, because we all thought she was dead though. We all thought she was dead since volume 3, but no, they were trolling us this entire time. Like, we get into more with her as a character, like how people in the military view her as a machine, a tool, a weapon, and not as a person though. Like, even Winter though, out of all the people, Winter's like the only family that Weiss gets along with the most. Well, did sort of. We'll get to that later, but still though, she like views her as a machine, a weapon. It's just they're so mean to her though, but she doesn't know that much until like at the very end though, when she gets the Winter Maiden powers. That's some serious power right there, like a major power grade upgrade, whatever you call it, and some major character development though, because like, who are you gonna side with though? The people who call you a machine, or the people that actually care about you, view you as a person? Because like Ruby was the first person to do that, then everybody else in Team Ruby started doing it. Even Weiss, like they all see her as a friend, a human. And I just cannot wait to see more with Penny though. I just seeing her again though really got me excited though. I really got excited though. I was jumping out of my seat and everything. I was just like, oh my god, she's back. Now, before I continue with the good stuff of this volume, there is one flaw I have, and that is the pacing. Like, I feel like, I mean, the first half of the volume is good, but I feel like the second half is stronger. But before I get to that, the first half, the problem I have with it, though, is, like I said before, the pacing. And I feel like with the pacing, they'll have it filled up with comedy or talking. And I understand we need comedy, we need talking, though. They're very important. Like, the comedy is funny. Like, it gets me some laughs and all that. However, it's just, it takes us away from the fighting and the story progression. So, I mean, the fights that we got, though, were pretty good. But I feel like we were getting less story progression, though, as, like, I felt like it was putting the story on hold. Like, oh, we have to have this funny moment, or we have to have this moment of talking. The rest of the stuff that we got in this volume was pretty good. I also enjoyed Weiss's dad. I know Weiss's dad is an asshole, a spoiled asshole, but hear me out for a moment though. Some people are probably bummed out, but it's understandable why he has to be in this, because this is a volume that's mainly focused on Weiss, sort of. So of course you have to have the father figure in this, or the father figure. And then you have Arthur Watts, who's conspiring with him, trying to help him win the election, or to get something else he wants, which is like some codes or something. Arthur Watts at the end, he was not going to help. He knew he knew Weiss's dad was gonna get in trouble after this. Which, by the way, though, that scene though where Weiss is like, "You are under arrest." Like, how many of you enjoyed that scene though? Even though this is like not a fighting scene, it was still really badass though. Like, I really enjoyed that episode a lot. Knowing more about Arthur Watts though, like why he is who he is, like why did he team up with Salem? It kind of makes sense because James Ironwood and Osmond were connected, so he probably looked at James Ironwood and Osmond and was like, "You want something? I'll team up with you, Salem, because you hate Osmond, I hate James Ironwood. Let's team up to take down that common enemy."
Yes, it's cool we got to see some old characters return, but how about some new characters, though, that can be introduced into the series? Well, for example, Robin here. Robin, she's a cool character, though. Like, she has a cool semblance where you touch someone and she can tell if you're lying or not. Like, that's pretty useful. But another thing that I really like about her, though, is her character design, though. I don't usually talk about this about other characters, but her character design, though, like, she looks different, though. It's not like some character design we've seen before that's recycled, like in other animes out there. One Piece has done it. Let's see. Fairy Tail's done it before, where you have a character look like a certain other character. I also enjoyed this right here, though. This has got to be one of the best relationships in RWBY so far. Well, of course, John and Para, but sadly, that's not there anymore, clearly. But here we have these two right here. Since the very beginning of the series, we finally got to see this, though. They've been through so much together, though, since, like, the flashback in Volume 4 to where they are now. I mean, yeah, sure, Ren is like, yeah, I'm kind of quiet about this. I don't know if I want this. I think maybe he just wants to friend zone, but, like, Nora's like, nah, not gonna happen. We're doing this. We're gonna be a couple. They deserve to be a couple. And then we have James Ironwood. Wow. This guy, he went from being a really good person to being misguided to being villainous. Like, that was a huge twist right there, though. He's not like a twist villain where he's like, oh, I'm just going to pretend to be the good guy and then I'm going to be the bad guy in real life. No, that's not what it is at all. Basically, he was trying to do the right thing. Like, he's always been trying to do the right thing. His main goal is to take down Salem ever since what happened in Volume 3. So he's like, you want to know something? I'm going to take down Salem. This is what I'm going to do. So at first, he's helping Team RWBY out and everything. He just made them huntsmen, which was pretty cool, though. You got to give him credit for that. But then, like, as the season progresses, we see, like, how much of an urge he feels to take down Salem. Like, this is an unhealthy vengeance right here. And then once we get to that last quarter of the season, we see that James Ironwood, there's no turning back for him, though. Like, he has chosen a different side. And that is by being, like, it's really hard to explain, though, because, like, he does something that Team RWBY doesn't agree with, and that is move Atlas and not help the citizens. Like, Team RWBY's like, you gotta help the citizens, and he's like, well, we have to take down Salem, and I'm not ready for that yet, so we gotta take the two relics, and we have to take the Winter Meridian powers as soon as possible, and not focus on the citizen. That sounds more like a villain. Even Oscar said it too, though. He was like, you're just as dangerous as Salem, and then he shoots him. Yeah, he's just, there's no turning back for this guy, though. And that's another thing that I like, though, is that when you have a different, like, group of bad guys, it makes the stakes higher, because not only do you have Salem's group, including Cinder, Neo, Tyrion, and Watts, but now you have James Ironwood and the Aesops. Like, this makes the stakes so much higher, though, when you have, like, two different groups of bad guys. And now this puts Weiss's and Winter's relationship down the tube, because, like, I mentioned this before, I was going to talk about the relationship between these two, and man, though, Winter is willing to choose duty over her own family. Like, we already know her brother and her father, they're assholes. They're just assholes. And the mother is just kind of beat up, she's just doing this. Now she has the sister who is going to be a fugitive from James Ironwood. Like, just these two sisters, they're just going through a lot, though. It just, you can kind of feel the emotional weight, the pain. And then we have this, though, right here, though. Clover and Crow. I did say before that I wasn't too big of a fan of the talking between just stuff in general. But when we were focusing on Crow and Clover, and it led up to that moment, like at the very end of the volume, it all made sense though. It all made sense now as to why these two were bonding and what it was building up to be. Because these two could have been best friends had none of that other dark stuff had happened. But then all of that had to go down the tubes when Ironwood said, "Hey, take in Crow." And Clover's like, duty becomes before personal stuff. I mean, he didn't really say it like that, but he said something similar to that, though. And this leads into a brief team up between Crow and Tyrion, though. Now, some people kind of controversial about that, though, because it all led to Clover's death, and that Crow should have done that. But you gotta understand, though, Clover had to be knocked out. That's what Crow was trying to do, is just knock out Clover, so that way Tyrion and Crow could have their rematch. Since Volume 4, though, they were like, hey, we have a score to settle, though, so let's just get rid of this guy first. Let's just knock him out, and then continue our fight. And Crow was like, okay. And Crow was not expecting this to happen, though, when Clover got stabbed literally in the back, though. Even though we weren't really predicting that Clover was going to die, we knew something was really shocked, though, because we haven't really had someone like a hero die since Volume 3, though. I mean, we've had characters die in the past since Volume 3, like Adam in Volume 6. We had that one girl who we thought was the Spring Maiden die in Volume 5, but we haven't really had a character that we really cared about die since Volume 3 with Farrah, though. When Farrah died, I was just like, why does she have to die? And then when this happens in Volume 7, I mean, yeah, we weren't really that attached to Clover as we were with Farrah, but still, though, when Clover dies, you can't help but feel bad, not just for Clover, but for Crow, though. And now there's going to be a setup for Tyrion and Crow, as these two are arch enemies now. Maybe we knew that in Volume 4, but this is the one where you're like, okay, they're like Batman and the Joker, though. And I'm hoping this fight will be great, though, kind of like similar how the fight between Blake and Adam and then, Yang, that fight was pretty epic, though. And then the stakes get even more higher with these two, though. How many of you were surprised to see them? Because we didn't see them in the opening. We only saw Arthur, Watts, and Tyrion, but not these two, though. So we were like curious, though. Are they ever going to make an appearance in this volume, or is it going to be in the next volume? And thank God we didn't have to wait any longer, because this was kind of perfect timing, though. They really made the stakes higher, though, when they stole the relic, though. They actually got away with stealing the relic, though, because at the end of Volume 5, though, we saw that, the heroes got the relic. And now at the end of Volume 7, even though we're rooting for our heroes, it's still nice to see the villains gain the upper hand, though, because you can't just have these villains be simple to defeat. You can't have them be like these one-shot villains. You gotta make the stakes higher by letting them steal something that the heroes are protecting, though. As for the music, though, the music was amazing as always, though. Not just in the opening, though. The opening song was still good, though. I don't know if it's my number one opening song for RWBY, but it's close, though. It's really close. I also enjoyed some of the music in, like, the episodes as well, though, like when RWBY was fighting the Aesops, like when Team RWBY was fighting the Aesops. That was a really cool song, though. I like how you can have, like, these songs appear in the background as they're fighting. They know how to match the song and the scene together. I also, there's not really much to talk about with the animation because, it's still good, but not much has changed about it, though. It's still the same, and we like it like that, though. We like the animation like this, though, and I'm impressed with it. I guess maybe the only thing that's changed with the animation is maybe Atlas and the character design for Robin, like I said before. So, good animation, good songs, good plot twists. The only flaw, though, I've said this before, is the pacing and the lack of story progression, though. But other than that, though, everything else that we gotten was pretty good, though. And we have yet to wait, though, for the next volume, though, with Salem attacking Atlas. Like, already? It's not my number one favorite volume. However, I do like it better than Volume 4 and Volume 5. Even though I don't hate Volume 4, I like Volume 4, it's still, if I had to pick a least favorite, it'd be Volume 4, though. Other than that, though, what you guys think of this volume, though? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Let me know your thoughts down below. This is probably going to be like, I think it's going to be like a 9 out of 10 for me, though. I don't know if I like it better than Volume 6, though, because Volume 6, I think it had more story progression. However, there was more plot twists, and there was also stakes were higher. It's hard to say, and that's why I want to hold off on the whole video where I rank the volumes. I'm Rob A, and may the anime force be with you.